Hey everyone, this is Ryan here to remind you that in the event of torrential floods, remain calm. You've prepared for this because you likely went to patreon.com/evacstation. If you haven't, then for less than the cost of an inflatable boat, you can help keep this show afloat and allow us to remain up to date on all necessary evacuation procedures. I mean, we are called evacstation. Come on, guys. Again, it is patreon.com/evacstation. And on to the show.
Out on this shore, they walk all day.
Out in the sun, they slip away. While with their boat in full time, they're floating under the sea.
Ves que en otros lagos las algas más verdes son y sueñas con ir arriba.
You know, I'd let a fish lick me if it'd get me more Patreon subs. Welcome to the After Credits Cast, the show where we watch movies and fuck fish. I guess.
Wait, what?
We are Ryan Fuji Metters.
God damn it, this is a kids movie! Oh, I'm sorry.
And I am a creepy, possibly German scientist named Aaron Hofseska. Because there's nothing else for for me, so I just took a Shape of Water reference there.
Okay.
Shout out to Guillermo del Toro, though.
Thank you, Guillermo.
And the opening theme for this week was, hopefully if I find a good one, a tasteful remix of Under the Sea.
Of course it would be.
So, for those listening, this week we're talking about a very lovely, very well-animated film named Ponyo. But before we hit that up, Ryan, what you been watching?
Well, something entirely unrelated to Ponyo. I actually, and this is fun because timey-wimey nonsense. I believe this is airing in October, so we'll talk about this a little bit later, or we've already talked about it. But I finally got to see A Quiet Place.
Bravo, good movie.
God damn. I'll keep it short because I know we're going to go in depth on it in a different podcast, but I really, really liked it. I loved the monster design.
It's a good design.
It's a really good monster design, and I love that they didn't shy away from actually showing the monsters until, because you know how in the majority of horror movies, they'll play up the suspense so much, and then you'll only get to see the creature really clearly in the last 5 minutes. I love that John Krasinski didn't do that, and that you actually got some good shots of it to really build some shit up.
And John Krasinski, he's so good in this.
He's super good. This is his first stab at the horror genre. You see what I did there?
I like it. You're gonna love the puns. I've written up some of the scripts for our Halloween episodes already. Again, this is before we actually get to recording them. You're gonna love some of the puns I do for the Patreon reads. They're great.
I will struggle not to laugh so that we can have some clean reads there. But yeah. No, I'll shut myself down. It's really, really good. I can't wait to talk about it in more depth, or I have already talked about it in depth. Fucking Cagliostro! Alright, let's go.
I'm sure you guys can't wait to hear that one.
Snap.
Alright, so Ryan, I have a good what you watching here, but I have two different things I can pick here. My question for you is, do you think this is going to be a long podcast where we have a long discussion about the film, or do you think the next one will be a longer discussion? Because I need to figure out which one I'm going to talk about here.
I think... So, usually you pick really good discussion questions, and it makes me think much deeper than I planned on thinking about it, but I think I will have more to say about the next one than I do about Ponyo, so I would say this one will probably be a little shorter.
Okay, in that case, I will bring up the thing I was most excited about for this past week. If y'all are a fan of Super Smash Bros., this past week they had a Super Smash Bros. 30-minute direct to kind of tell about new stuff coming into the next game, which comes out in December, and I am all excited for that shit. So they announced 5 characters,
Oh,
three of which are Echo Fighters, I should make that clear. But they have 2 pure new fighters. Simon Belmont from Castlevania, which...
The guy with the whip?
The guy with the whip.
Holy Okay, alright, that's good. That's a good one. I'll dig that.
He has an Echo Fighter, Richter Belmont, who looks like he does play a little differently, and, I mean, it's pretty cool. The other 2 Echo Fighters to mention are Dark Samus, which, okay, that's fair.
It's a nice character design. I mean, shit.
Oh, it's a really good character design. And, what was the other one? Now I'm spacing on it again. It's the one I always forget. It was...
Wasn't it, like, King K. Rool or some shit?
No, that's the 5th character. He's an all-original character, and
Damn,
I really hope he's in his full pirate outfit for part of it, because that pirate outfit from Donkey Kong Country 2 is really cool looking. I hope they have it in there. I can't remember the other Echo Fighter. If anyone wants to comment down there and tell me what it is, I'll probably not read it, and by the next episode I'll remember, and it'll be like, oh, hey, I remembered it, guys. I looked it up online.
That's alright, we'll get it in post.
Yeah, we'll get it in post. But there's a couple new features to the game that actually really have my attention. So, Ryan, you played Smash Bros.
Of course.
So, in the game, when you're playing with friends, you typically start on the characters. You typically go to your character select screen. Then everyone gets all frustrated. You have to go to the rules because they haven't been changed yet. You switch it to your lives. You go back to the character screen. Finish getting your characters. Pick your stage, and then you fight.
Yes.
That's a typical flow. In the new game, you will start on stage selection. Sorry. You will set the rules. It'll take you to the rules first, and you can have them set to default whatever you want.
Oh, that's nice. That's very nice.
Second is then the stage select screen. And then the character select screen.
Huh.
There's also some other cool things. So, for the stages, you have an option for stage... I should probably go with the simple stuff first. So, like in Smash Bros. 3DS and Wii U, you can still have Final Destination versions of stages, which, for those who are not aware, perfectly flat stage, but it has the same textures and music from the stage you're picking. Mm-hmm. So it has a bunch of weird platforms and hazards. They're all gone. There's Battlefield version, which is the same thing, except now there's some platforms floating in the air. Good stuff. And they have Hazardless mode, where it removes the hazards, but the stage remains intact as is.
Thank fucking God, I hate stage hazards. They irritate me so.
I like some stage hazards, but the ones with, like, boss fights on them, those fucking annoy the hell out of me. Those boss fights take up too much real estate on the screen. But the thing I like out of this is Stage Morph. You can pick up to 2 different stages, or is it 3? It was 2 or 3 stages you can pick from. And during the battle, your stage will transform into the next stage you picked. So you'll be able to go between 2 or 3 different stages in one fight. It's really interesting.
That will be really, really interesting. Yeah, no, I would really like to see how that plays out.
Yep. And then there's also Smashdown, which is a new multiplayer mode where you and your buddies can pick your characters. After each round, the characters you picked in the last match are no longer available. You have to pick all new characters until you're out of characters on the select screen. It's a really interesting idea that I kind of like. But the thing that really got me the most, aside from the mode they refuse to show us yet, is a rule set they have for the multiplayer games. Ryan, are you familiar with the concept of the Smash Ball?
Yes.
Okay, for those who aren't aware, a Smash Ball is a small item in the game that you can break open to get a super move. The problem with it is its implementation is not very good. It's an item that flies around the stage, and the last person to hit it is the one who gets the power, not the one who does the most damage. Mm-hmm. I don't like it. There's a new rule called Smash Meter you can implement. For a weaker final smash, characters will build up a meter during the match to then be able to perform a final smash, instead of using the Smash Ball.
Oh.
It makes it more like a fighting game.
Huh. Fucking brilliant.
But yeah, no, I adore everything they've shown. They showed a few other features too, like music details and stuff, but those are the big takeaways I got from it, and it's gonna be my day one buy for the Switch so far. Like, I haven't had anything like that yet, even though Octopath Traveler looks really good. It's just saving up for that one. That's gonna be my number one pick.
Yeah, no,
with Metroid Prime being the next one down the road.
I am definitely grabbing Smash day one. Day one, I'm right there.
Oh yeah, I cannot wait for it because it has all the old classic. It has 103 stages, Ryan.
103 stages.
Yep, and it looks like the original ones from Smash 64 are going to be there with a few bit of updates to them.
Oh,
but yeah,
my
103
God, that's
stages.
Too much choice.
And consider the fact that there's also 3 versions of every stage.
Bruh. That's too much. That's too much.
It's a bit much, I know. But no, I am so excited for this one. It is definitely going to be a system seller with all the features they're cramming into this fucking thing. I cannot wait. We've actually been playing some Smash Bros. On game nights, the Wii U game. And so I'm going to just go into a little side tangent here. So we played a game, and I was picking characters I don't normally play as. And so I picked Luigi for one of them. And the entire match, I just trolled people. I wasn't really good. I didn't win. I got, like, second place. But I was trolling people because all I did was just make anal jokes and complain about Bowser trying to steal my daughter. Because someone was playing Bowser, another person was playing Rosalina. I'm like, yep, I'm going to play into this a bit. This will be fun.
It sounds like you. It sounds like something you do.
Yep. And then the match right after that, I was playing Kirby, so I made a joke about sucking everybody off. It was fun.
Oh, why did I choose then to drink something? Damn it, Aaron.
That's my what you've been watching. Looking forward to future shit. It'll be great.
Now watch us have like an hour-long discussion on Ponyo.
Oh yeah, it'll be a long one now, probably. Speaking of movies, Halloween may only be a few days away, guys, but our SummerSlam is still floating by with our next animated feature, the 2008 film, Ponyo. Directed by Hayao Miyazaki, this film grossed a worldwide total of $205,312,000. The English dub features voice work from Cate Blanchett, Noah Cyrus, Tina Fey, Frankie Jonas, and Cloris Leachman, and Betty White, and Matt Damon, and the always excellent Liam Neeson.
Liam fucking Neeson.
Oh, you watched the English version, didn't you?
I actually did this time. There was no Japanese version on the download that I found. I just straight up watched it, and like literally in like 3 seconds in, I was like, "Is that fucking Liam Neeson? What?"
There is no wrong that man can commit. He is by far my favorite actor when it comes to films. Like, he's not the one I talk about the most, but every time I see him in a film, I'm like, yeah, I'll take this movie. This will be a good time.
Everybody else, I couldn't have picked out like, oh, that's Cate Blanchett, or oh, that's Tina Fey. Like, I like everybody else.
You couldn't tell Betty White. Come on now.
I honestly didn't notice. I don't know which of the old ladies she played. There were multiple old ladies, man. But
in all fairness, I didn't either. But Amanda was watching with me, and she picked her out right away. I'm like, that's impressive.
yeah, no, but like everybody else, they had pretty distinct like character voices. So I didn't really hear the actor. I heard the person. And Liam Neeson, not saying anything bad about him, but he had the most distinct voice. Like, you could tell he was trying to distance from himself a little bit, but still, I was just like, no. Yeah.
Can I just say, though, that I kind of wish that Liam Neeson was younger so he could do a new modern James Bond? Because he's got the voice, he's got the attitude, he's just a little too old anymore to do it. I think that'd be great.
I would definitely be down for a young Liam Neeson as 007. I would.
We got so sidetracked.
He would be boss.
Alright, this film has won several awards, including Best Composer from the Asian Film Awards, Best Score from the awards of the Japanese Academy, the Ofuji Noboru Award from the Mainichi Film Concours, the Animation of the Year, Best Art Direction, Best Director, and Best Original Story from the Tokyo Anime Awards, and a special mention and Mimo Rotella Foundation Award from the Venice Film Festival.
Wow.
As a bonus fact, there are many references to Richard Wagner's opera series, Der Ring des Lingin. Where's Nicole? I need her to read German for me. Scattered throughout the film. Ponyo's real name is Brunhilde.
Yep.
On one of the leading roles of Wagner's other show
I'm sorry.
I can't read.
I'm sorry. It's Wagner. It's Wagner.
Is it Wagner?
It is.
I'm sorry. I'm terrible. I'm just reading it. I didn't hear it anywhere. Brunhilde is also a supernatural being who falls in love with a human, Siegfried, much like Ponyo falls in love with Sosuke. When Ponyo is chasing after Sosuke and his mother during the giant storm scene, you could even hear a musical tribute to Wagner's Ride of the Valkyries.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Miyazaki, gotta give you props for all these little details you put in. You do good stuff. Like, that's the thing I think I'm gonna take away from this whole series you've been doing. As good as some of the other directors have been when they come in, Miyazaki does a great job stepping in with the details that you would not catch until you go back to listen again.
I think it'll be interesting to revisit this question when we're done and it's all said and done. But I think one of Miyazaki's best strengths is the ability to take a story or take a story that's been done and then put his own personal twist on it. So you could see what he was pulling from, but it feels entirely Miyazaki. It feels like Studio Ghibli. It feels like his own, rather than a spin-off impression of this story. Aside from the name Brunhilde, I'm just now realizing all of the beats that he put towards The Ring and towards Wagner's work. And it's making a lot of sense in my head. But during the watching of it, I was just engrossed in Miyazaki's latest work. So yeah.
Oh, absolutely. So before we get into the synopsis, Ryan, what are your initial thoughts?
And this is going to be hilarious. So initially, I really liked the show. I really liked the movie, but I thought, and I have a feeling my mind is probably going to be changed during the discussion of this movie, but my thought was that it's inherently not as super deep as the rest of his works. It feels like a movie. You remember how we were talking about how Only Yesterday seems aimed entirely at adults? Ponyo feels like it's aimed entirely at children, and it's really good, but it's a kids movie, and that's where I kind of this is fun, but it's not as interesting as the other stuff. And you're probably gonna bring up a whole bunch of stuff that I didn't catch until just now, and my opinion's gonna change. So I'm not gonna hold too hard onto that initial read. But yes, that was the initial read.
I'm not going to lie, Ryan. I will certainly try, but I promise nothing.
God damn it.
So I'll give my first impressions. I actually saw this once at a friend's place way long ago, but because I was in college. But I wasn't really interested in it back then. I kind of just dismissed it as just dumb kid shit. But now that I'm sitting down and actively engaging with it, like I've been doing with all the other Miyazaki films, actually been very cute and fun. And I thought it was a really damn good time, and I'm looking forward to really diving deep into it.
Yeah.
All right. With that in mind, here is your synopsis, ladies and gentlemen. Liam Neeson is your typical red-headed ocean daddy when one of his daughters escapes the confines of his not yellow submarine. This little fish girl finds her way to the shore and meets a young Sasuke. But long before his parents are killed by Sasuke's brother. Little Sasuke puts the little fish girl in a bucket and calls her Ponyo. Liam Neeson, having been through the missing daughter shtick before, wastes no time approaching little Sosuke. But his mom intervenes, believing Liam Neeson to be a pedophile or a drug dealer. Don't worry, folks, he isn't. This is just the movie. Little Sasuke takes Ponyo to school, but loses her when Liam Neeson sends his ooze to get her, and brings her back to his lair. Her willpower and love for Sasuke causes her to transform into a human girl, legs and everything. Check out them gams. Liam Neeson drinks up his magic juice, Manaroids, people, to seal her in a bubble in hopes that she'll stop this foolishness. Her many little sisters, or clones, it's not 100% clear, free her from the bubble, and they escape, taking a hit off Liam Neeson's most powerful magic juice. In doing so, they cause a massive storm that overtakes the countryside. End times, people, end times. Meanwhile, thousands of miles away, we establish little Sasuke lives with his mom while his pappy is out on the ocean. Not coming home from work again, his mom is mad, but little Sasuke cheers her up. They go back to their usual routine until the storm hits, which really fucks up his pappy's boat. Little Sasuke's mom defies common wisdom in getting her son home, driving through flooded roads and speeding up mountain roads. Along the way, they find the escaped Ponyo, now in human form. It's not even her final form. They soon discover she has special powers to boot. Mom eventually leaves the kids because the old people she gotta go save. When the mom does not return, little Sasuke sets out on a quest to find her and bring her back. Ponyo uses her magic to help, and they're off after the storm subsides. They meet strangers to help them along the way. Eventually they're directed to where his mom should be, and they're off. Nearing the end of their journey, Ponyo's magic starts to fade away, and she turns back into a fish. Oh no! While all this is happening, Liam is meeting with Ponyo's mom, who is basically an ocean goddess. They agree to let Ponyo stay with the boy, Sasuke, for those keeping track here, if he can prove he truly loves her. Liam is not happy with this, but he has to agree because, well, it's what Ponyo wants. He can't really stop her. They meet little Sasuke's mom and explain everything to her when she goes to save the old people. When Ponyo's magic has started to fade away, as I mentioned like a paragraph ago, Liam grabs little Sasuke and Ponyo, after a small chase scene, of course, and brings them to Mrs. Little Sasuke's mom. They tell little Sasuke he has a choice, and of course he chooses Ponyo. They leave Ponyo with the family, and just as they're gone, Ponyo jumps out of her bucket, kissing Sasuke, and turns her into a human once again, but with no more magic. The film ends with them comically frozen in place, smiling at one another while they're defying gravity.
Yep.
Yep, that's a movie.
That's that movie. That's that movie.
Alright, Ryan, before I get to any discussion questions, now that we've gotten through all that, what do you think?
So again, I really like the movie, and I'm gonna bring up things that like it felt generally kind of all over the place, and I was along for the ride. I was along for the ride, but like in terms of like a cohesive story, and slightly pushing my suspension of disbelief just a little too far. But overall, I really did like the movie.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think it's good. I think it has a very childlike way of doing things. Like, it bounces all over the place,
yes,
but not in a way where it's unfocused. It definitely has a focus to it. It's just that it likes to throw in a bunch of ideas all at once and really just kind of... Like, there's a scene where they're floating along the flooded streets, and they're talking about all the different fish around them. And I'm like, what movie takes this time to set aside to just name off all these old-ass fish? Like, I'm not complaining. It's really cool and educational, but what the fuck am I watching here?
Yeah, also the... some of the characters' motivations weren't entirely clear. Like, when you see the wizard, like fucking Qui-Gon Jinn of the sea, and he's in that secret place where he's pouring in his secret elixir into this well, and he's talking about, how once this well is full, then, the sea will return to its full power back in, like, the fucking Cretaceous period, and then the world of humans will be no more, and then the sea will rule, and da-da-da-da, and I'm like, so are we just going to gloss over the fact that this dude's trying to end mankind? Are we just going to gloss over that whole thing because it's only mentioned once, and then... Later on in the movie, he's talking about how, everything is out of balance and the moon is about to have the ocean overrun everything. And in order to restore the balance, Ponyo needs to either be a little girl or fucking stop all this bullshit. And I'm like, wait, no, weren't you trying to end the world? What's happening? I don't understand. what you're
Yeah,
doing.
I wasn't sure if he's supposed to be a good guy or a bad guy, because at the beginning he comes off like the bad guy, but by the end he's like, oh, okay, he's cool, but like, wait a minute, didn't you want to do, what are you doing here? What's going on?
Yeah, like, overall, his character read to me like the dad. It was only when he was talking about, yeah, this will end the filth of mankind and whatnot, and I'm like, ooh, that's villainous. That's a villainous line. But then the rest of it, it's just an exasperated dad. Like, you're 5 fucking years old. Stop talking that you love this little boy. Stop it.
Yeah, it's a little weird sometimes. It got a little weird.
Yeah. I had a great time with it. I'm gonna say a lot. I'm gonna say a lot of things that feel kind of nitpicky, but I had a really good time with it. I was smiling from start to finish.
Ryan, I encourage nitpickiness, so you have at it. And speaking of which, I've got my first question right here for you that might seem a little nitpicky.
Let's hear it.
Is Liam Neeson doomed to be typecast as the father knows best character who's also a badass in every goddamn movie?
I mean,
I'm not complaining because he does a good job with it. But god damn, it's like the 5th or 6th movie he's done this in.
Honestly, I mean, I think it comes from how he's aging, because like he's definitely getting older, but he has that demeanor and the voice where it's just like he can be kind and wise and badass simultaneously. And there aren't many people who can do that. There aren't many older actors that can really hold all of those plates spinning in the air at the same time. So, I mean, if we saw him in a different role where he wasn't like some fucking air marshal trying to save up a plane full of passengers, or he wasn't a fucking CIA agent, black bag operative whose fucking daughter got kidnapped and he asked to again, you know, like if we saw him in something different, I'm sure he'd rock it. But as long as
he was fucking Rob Roy and Oscar Schindler. I mean, he's done his time. Yeah, he's done some good shit.
Yeah. But as long as there's a need for that badass father figure or that badass older guy that shows up and fucks the younger guy's shit up, Liam Neeson's never gonna go hungry. There's always gonna be a part for Liam Neeson.
And so I'm gonna break away here real quick. So I look at Liam Neeson myself, and I think to myself, in the upper echelon of actors I enjoy, where is he at? Because I'm comparing him to Robert Downey Jr., Jeff Goldblum, and Willem Dafoe as my short list. I know there's more, but that's my short list right now.
That's a good list.
It's a good list. And I think of the four of the guys I mentioned, Liam Neeson being included, he's probably the most balanced of all of them. Like, Robert Downey Jr. is very fun, but he doesn't do a lot of serious roles, at least not yet. He hasn't done many in a while. Jeff Goldblum is quirky and weird, and his best roles are when he taps into that really well. Willem Dafoe's fucking insane. I don't know where I can really rank him. He's just kind of a fucking nut job, but I love every minute I see him on screen. I think Liam Neeson is by far the most balanced of all 4 of them. Like, he can carry most any role you throw his way, and he usually does so with just enough, like, sagely wisdom to just be like, yeah, no, I'm here. What do you need me to do? Let's do it. And I love it. He's great.
You know, that's an interesting critique, yeah. Because of the short list that you mentioned, those 3 have, like, kind of niches, and they're definitely fantastic at their craft, and they can stretch in other ways, but the majority of their acting is definitely, like, kind of in that similar vein, whereas Liam Neeson has a larger, I want to say, like, a baseline, where he could apply to a couple of different things, yeah.
A wider breadth of things he can call upon.
Yeah, I think so.
Notice I didn't list Nicolas Cage because he's also a fucking nut job I can't really put anywhere.
I feel like Nicolas Cage just has the most fun in any role. He's like, okay, you want me to do this? Okay, how can I maximize my fun with this character? And then he just goes. He just leaves.
Well, I cannot wait to talk about Nick Cage in a podcast. It's going to be great. It'll be fun times.
I will... I'm not sure. I would love to do a face-off podcast, but I don't know how I'm going to get through it without laughing the entire fucking time. because that's
it's so good.
It's one.
so good.
I think it might be my favorite Nick Cage movie. It's just. It's two over
it's up there.
actors. It's two over actors who get to pretend that they're the other guy overacting in the role. Come on, man. It's
like, I gotta give shout outs to it's John Travolta, right?
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I gotta give shout outs to John Travolta. I mean, it's hard to keep up with Nick Cage, and he did it. It's good. We're getting way off topic here.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Nope, you're good. You're good. It's a fun rabbit hole to go down.
Nick Cage podcast coming soon.
Yep, to a theater near you. Okay, next. Is Sosuke's mom a good mother, or is she just a bit too reckless? Like, to put it in other words, if you had kids, Ryan, would you trust her with your children?
Damn.
I think she has her heart in the right place, but she is definitely not a forward thinker.
Yeah, she's definitely pretty goddamn impulsive, playing Fast and Furious like fucking Drift King, like in the midst of a storm. Like waves are literally chasing you. This bitch is drifting on mountain roads. Okay, no, I think overall she is a good mother. I do think so. I don't think I think she's really confident in what she can handle. So it's never like she jumps into something thinking, oh, this might be really bad. Let's fucking roll the dice. I feel like everything she does because she knows she can do it, and she knows she can keep her kids safe while doing it. So
I wish I had that level of confidence. There's so many things I'm like, I don't think I can do that.
Like,
I'm gonna just
that mom,
I'm just gonna stay
like
back.
Lisa had the biggest balls in that movie. Like Jesus Christ. Yeah.
I love that they fucking had Liam Neeson's character and the ocean goddess talking to her like it was no big deal. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's a thing, sure.
Yeah, she was very.
But she was so chill about it.
Chill about crazy shit. Like, we literally just saw this little girl running on waves, and you can at first dismiss it as your child has a really big imagination, but then you saw it, and then you realize this actually might be the fucking goldfish that he had yesterday, and you're like, alright, fuck it, let's get these kids inside, and let's get them some food. I'm like, alright, fucking let's go.
She rolled so hard with those punches, I gotta at least give her credit for that. That's good shit.
Yeah, no, she definitely rolled with the flow. So I can't impugn her motherhood skills too hard, because she literally handled everything that came her way in that movie. She handled it.
Absolutely. Okay. So, it is said that this film is to be a Japanese take on Little Mermaid. Do you see the comparisons, and do you think this holds up to Little Mermaid that we saw as kids?
I can see the comparisons. I can definitely see the comparisons. I would say where the comparison falls apart is the lack of a central villain who exists solely to take advantage of the main character. Because you have no Ursula, who's there,
right,
like, literally trying to trick Ariel into giving up, like, the thing that makes her really unique. It's just, like, the closest thing you have to a villain is the dad, and his motivations are just
fuck humanity.
I hesitate to even call that a fuck human, like a real motive, because you see him touch on it like for 5 minutes, and then the rest of the movie is just, oh my god, what is my daughter doing? Can you please stop? Oh my god, the world is about to end because my daughter has a crush on this little boy. Can you please stop?
Yeah, it's weird to see it's weird because the comparisons really are there, and there's a lot of strong, like, both are visually impressive, both have the young redhead girl wanting to become human and be with a human and experience the human world, and you have those main beats following along pretty strongly. But then, yeah, you're right, it's just that lack of a central villain, and I have to wonder, because this isn't the first time Miyazaki's done this, because you could argue that, when we talked about, what was it, Princess Mononoke, we didn't really claim that there was a central villain. There was a couple people with weaker morals than others, but none of them were necessarily the big bad.
Yeah. But remember, like we mentioned that as being like the core strength of the movie, because everybody's character was so three-dimensional and so well developed that you could see how either side can look really villainous to the other side, and that's that was fantastically done.
So with that in mind, because I do ask another question: is there an antagonist to this film? We've already answered that, so I guess I'll switch the question a little bit. How do you think this film tackles the lack of a central antagonist, like Princess Mononoke does? Is it similar? Is it different? And is it how does it hold up with that?
I definitely think it's different, and I think this is I think it speaks to like essentially my core nitpick with the movie.
All right, everybody take a seat. We're gonna listen to this.
I don't really feel like there is a central conceit or a central moral to the story. I feel like Ponyo wanted to experience the world. She escaped. She met this little boy who took care of her, and she fell in love in fucking 5 seconds, and then upended the entire world to get back to him. And essentially her parents allowed her to do whatever the fuck she wanted in order to put the world at balance. I don't feel like there's a central like storyline where we're supposed to walk away with like a major takeaway at the end of it. I feel like it was just a really fun kids adventure that had a happy ending. I don't know what the big takeaway from the movie is. And I think that also lends itself to the lack of an antagonist. I'm not saying that an antagonist would have fixed everything, but I'm saying that essentially...
Well, a conflict would have fixed
a central conflict would have kind of fixed things. And I was kind of waiting for, like, essentially for Sasuke to have to, like, deal with like a series of trials where he has to prove his love for Ponyo. But at the end of it, it was just like, okay, I finally get to meet you. So, would you love my daughter if she was a fish? Yes? Okay. Well, if she becomes human, she's gonna lose her magic. Is that okay? Yes? Do you promise to take care of her? Yes? Okay, you're fine. That's it! That's it!
Listen, lady. I watch Shape of Water. If she can love a fish, I can love a fish. It's fine.
God damn it! I'm gonna stop drinking things. I promise. I promise. But that's my big nitpick with it. Is that I don't really know. Like it doesn't have like a through line where like at the end of it when it's all said and done, the takeaway is this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I do think that there is a problem with the lack of conflict and the lack of, for lack of a better term, a central villain. I do think that, what was I getting at here? I do think that, we've already discussed it, it's a little bit bouncy all over the place, in that there's no central villain, and I think that, yeah, it does sort of make it hard to really pin down if there's a meaning to this film or not, and if so, what could it be? Because every film we've seen thus far has had some kind of meaning to it, I think, for the most part.
Yeah.
And there might be like one exclusion, but I'm not thinking of it right now. Maybe Cat Returns. But no. So
Cat Returns had a central takeaway. It just wasn't amazingly done.
Man, I'm just trying to think of how I can like defend it, but I'm really having some struggles sitting here thinking about it, because I think overall it really is just kind of like playing up the kids' angle a little bit more than the previous films have.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I'm someone who likes to look for deeper meaning and shit, but it's just kind of hard to find it when there's not a lot of meat to go on, you know?
That's my problem with it. Like let me say the disclaimer again. I had a lot of fun with this movie. I was smiling from start to finish, and I was laughing at the antics of these silly-ass little kids. It was just really fun. But I feel like it lacks in substance. It has amazing animation and it plays up the fun, absolutely, but I feel like there's a lack of deeper meaning in it.
Yeah, I can agree. And I do want to touch on the thing you just said. The animation in this film is probably one of the best I've seen, and not because it's like the best one, but it has a very unique style the other movies we've seen don't have.
Absolutely.
And it fits the story really good.
It really does. It really does. I think that's one of my favorite things, discovering and watching this whole project and watching all of the Studio Ghibli films, is that the studio is so willing to take a chance on new animation styles and just fucking run with it. And it's so awesome to see. Like, you can watch Mononoke, you can watch Nausicaa, you can watch Porco Rosso and be like, okay, that's like core vintage Ghibli, but then Ghibli will come out with the Ponyo, or Ghibli will come out with the My Neighbors the Yamadas, and just like completely go out of left field and run with the ball. And it's so much fun to just see them take chances like that and really like hone their craft on different types of styles. It's really awesome to see.
It kind of reminds me of Legend of Zelda almost. They tend to change their style every other game to kind of try new things. You've gone from your 2D art to 3D blocky Nintendo 64, to your cel-shaded, to your darker tones, to your mix of Skyward Sword nonsense, to what we have now with Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
And every time they experiment, they tend to get some good results out of it. Like, at the time, Wind Waker looks silly, but if you look back on it, it ages really well.
Yeah.
And I think that's the other thing to talk about when it comes to Miyazaki's films. A lot of the darker, edgier shit you're going to see from other animes or other animation studios that do these kind of films, they aren't going to age super well. Hell, even the 3D animation for some things doesn't age super well. But the stuff we're seeing from Miyazaki, especially the stuff that's like top tier, it's gracefully aging. And this stuff looks amazing still, and it's impressive how they're able to keep it going this long.
Yeah, I feel like that's the true sign of mastery, especially in a visual craft. It's just like, you can revisit the art, you can revisit the work a decade later, and you can see how in comparison to newer shit, it ages, but it doesn't age poorly. It's done, like, all of the small details and the true signs of mastery of the craft are still there. So even though it's an older art style, it's still done damn near flawlessly, and that's what carries through the ages.
Absolutely. There's a lot. There's only a handful of films I can think of that have that kind of staying power. Jurassic Park, and
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
And it's great to see that, and I wish that modern filmmakers would look back on these particular films and just take cues from how they're able to identify their own unique style, and how they were able to make it a timeless piece because of that. I think a modern example of this will likely be something like Guardians of the Galaxy, which looks amazing right now, and I think it'll age very well for the next few years, and we'll see how it holds up 10, 20 years from now. But I have high hopes for it. I think it'll still hold up that distance.
Honestly, if I look at a modern movie that I think will probably last the test of time, I would actually point to Avatar. Not The Last Airbender. I mean the James Cameron Blue People movie. As like crazy ass budget as it was, the world in and of itself is so gorgeously crafted. And the storyline and the storyline and the people and the culture in it definitely borrows from a bunch of shit, and it's definitely prevalent. But I feel like it's done so well with such attention to detail that it's really immersive, and that when you watch it, you're in Pandora rather than, oh, there's a bunch of blue people and big ass budget.
Question for you then, to follow up on that question for you. Have you seen Avatar only in 3D, or did you see it in 2D as well?
I saw it both. I saw it both ways.
Okay.
I saw it in 3D in the theaters, and then I have it in 2D on Blu-ray and DVD.
I've only seen it in 3D once. I've not gone back to see it. I don't hate it by any means. It's just nothing that really grabbed me enough to want me to buy it and keep watching it. But everyone I've talked to thus far says that the 2D isn't anything to write home about, and the movie's not as impressive in that state. They say it's definitely the best in 3D, and that's about all I get out of them, really.
I would say that I love the movie enough that I really like it in 2D, but the 3D is definitely the best. It's because it's subtle 3D. It's not like that.
Oh yeah, no, it's about depth instead of coming at you.
Like, oh, here's a fucking thing coming at your face. No, it has like one of those, but the rest of the 3D is really depth. It's really immersion. Rather than cheap gimmicks, it makes you feel like you're actually there.
Well, and the other benefit to it as well is that it was filmed entirely in 3D, whereas most films, to save money, convert to it or only do parts of the film in 3D.
Very true. Which,
let's be fair here, typically doesn't look as good, and it doesn't justify the higher ticket price. Yeah. I got my eyes on you, Hollywood. I know what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah, no. Avatar is like one of the few movies that I would absolutely say it's worth it to see in 3D. It's absolutely worth it.
I think it's maybe the only one, but I haven't seen enough of them since that to really say for sure. But as far as I know, it's the only one to my memory that really is like, yep, we made use of the 3D technology all the way through. Enjoy.
Yeah. Now, why it needs a fucking sequel is beyond me, but we're getting super off the topic. I'm sorry.
This has been a bad podcast for staying on time.
It's because there's not a lot of depth in Ponyo. I love this movie, but damn.
Okay, I'm gonna skip a question here and move on to some other stuff here. Why do you think Sosuke loves or likes Ponyo?
Because he's fucking fine.
Well, no. Let's really chew into this a bit here as best we can. So Ponyo likes Sosuke, obviously, because he grants her the freedom away from her bubble prison, basically. And she wants to live this free life and be, on the land and enjoy what the world has to offer. So, in this case, let's look at Sosuke. Why is he so attracted or devoted to Ponyo?
I honestly don't know. This is not me shit-talking Ponyo by any stretch. I mean, Ponyo's motivations for sticking with Sasuke and falling in love with Sasuke are well defined. Not only is he helping her find this life outside of her father, but he is literally the first human that she ever encounters in life, and the first thing he does is treats her with kindness, which goes entirely against all the "oh my god, humans are awful, foul creatures" rhetoric that her father has been spitting. He has turned that on its head within 10 seconds of meeting her. So yes, her falling for him 100% makes sense. No question.
It's almost like she was raised in a conservative family who voted for Trump and she wanted to get away from it.
Man, I gotta clear my throat. Hold on.
A little bit.
But Sasuke's 5. I think that's it. I there's nothing else that, aside from the I don't want to say novelty, but it's the only word that I can think of that's close to it. Aside from the novelty of finding this fish that has a human face and has a lot of personality that he lost, and then it came back as a little girl with red hair and boundless energy and just could do cool shit. That's really all. It's really all I got. It's really all I got.
Well, okay. So I'm going to attempt to take a stab at this.
Please do.
So I think Sosuke likes Ponyo because she is not like the girls he goes to school with. Because if we see them for a little bit, and they don't really like him. Like, they try to reach out to him, but he's considered to be a little off-putting and weird. Like, he says he has to work, he says he's got to do this, and they're like, "You're weird, Sosuke," and they just, they don't get him. They don't understand him.
Honestly, I think it's the other way around. I'm gonna let you finish, but I think it's the other way around. I think the girls like him, but they don't catch his fancy at all. Like, because they constantly are like, Sasuke, come play. Sasuke, what are you doing? Sasuke, show me what you're working on.
And I think that
He's
might
like,
just be there.
nah, I ain't got no time for that. I'm busy. I have to take care of this fish.
Well, I think part of that is just the fact that they're maybe trying to reach out to him to maybe get him to kind of integrate with the rest of the class, because let's be fair, it's a little weird when one kid wants to just kind of do his own thing. I mean, I'm not trying to diss anyone on that, but I'm just saying, like, in a typical playground setting, it is a little strange when one kid just wants to go off on his own and not be interacting with anybody. So I can understand why they want to pull him into, like, the group activities, sports, games, etc., because I went to school with in situations like that, and it's like, you kind of feel bad for the kid not hanging out and playing with anybody. You think maybe he's got no friends, so reach out and maybe get him involved. So I think that's kind of maybe the mentality of the other school kids. And I think that Sasuke, like I said, well, like you said, he isn't really interested, and it comes off as off-putting. So they, don't pull him in as hard as they could, and that's sort of what draws him into Ponyo. Is just that she sort of gets him. She sort of digs the weird vibe he's putting out, and the two of them just kind of click.
I don't know if I agree with it entirely, because
I might be putting more into it than there probably is.
I mean, because the read that I got from Sasuke in terms of his like social standing with the other kids, it was that I didn't get a sad vibe from it. It's not like the kids who you see on the playground that are doing their own thing because nobody likes them. It feels like it's the kid who's doing his own thing because he wants to do his own thing. And that's infinitely more intriguing than the kid that's just super sad because he can't make any friends. So I feel like it's the former rather than the latter, which is why the girls are always like, Sasuke, come play with us, or Sasuke, what are you doing? Sasuke, you're always into some interesting shit. And he's all like, I have no time for you normal folk. I'm doing shit over here. I found this fish. I got it. And so I think in terms of what draws Sasuke to Ponyo, I think it might just be that I keep wanting to go back to the word novelty, and it's really not novelty. I feel it's unique. You hit it on the head. She is not like the other girls that he is used to. In fact, she probably reminds him more of his mom than anybody else, because she has such huge energy, and she really doesn't give a shit what anybody else thinks, and she just does her own thing. And I feel like that probably pulls him.
Ryan, let's both admit it right here, right now. At one point or another, we were both attracted to that manic pixie dream girl. At one point or another.
You know what? Yeah, I can admit it. I was a teenager once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary. Yes, I will admit that.
And then you slowly learn, oh, that's not an ideal relationship. I should probably learn from this.
Oh, that's not actually a real person. Yeah.
She's fucking nuts. Okay, final question before we move on to our conspiracy corner. I actually got one this week.
Yes.
We love the love we see between Ponyo and Sasuke isn't traditional romantic love that we've seen before. It's also not sexual because they're children.
They're fucking five!
But the question is, Ryan, do you think that this relationship will become a romantic one? And then why or why not?
I feel like it kind of has to. And that's, like, at the end, like, you're asking, like, the goddess of the sea is asking this 5-year-old child if he promises to love her daughter to the extent that her daughter will give up all heritage and rights to magic powers that she is entitled to become fully human for the love of this little boy. These are 5-year-old children, and the oath that they have to make, it feels like they're getting married almost. It really does. And I'm like...
Well, but I'm looking at this, though, and they're 5-year-olds, as we've said. But the love they have, it almost feels kind of familial to an extent. Like, I feel like she's not necessarily becoming a future girlfriend or wife, but more a sister.
I didn't get that read. I got 5-year-olds with like childlike crushes. I got that read. That's the read I got, and I loved it when like the oath was about to happen, and all the old ladies ran up, and one of the old ladies it like said, "Aren't they too young for this?" And it was never addressed. But the one old lady was on point. I'm like, wait, they're kids. Can we not have them swear lifelong oaths to sea goddesses before they know what a lifetime is? Forever is a long time, guys. And she's giving up, like, ownership of the sea. She's giving up spooky magic powers for this little boy.
Now, I didn't include it in the bonus facts, but I do think I read somewhere that Miyazaki was interested in doing a sequel to this.
Like a for real sequel, not like a
for real sequel.
Not like this is actually a story that Ponyo wrote when she was daydreaming about Sasuke one time. Type
in ninja class. Yep.
Yeah. Fucking grumble.
But no. I think he contemplated making a sequel, but I think he was talked down from the idea. I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't be opposed to seeing something in the distant future where it kind of shows the two of them and where they end up going. It doesn't have to be a full movie, like a short 15-minute jaunt. I would be cool just seeing like what becomes of their relationship and where does life take them. Just a short little glimpse into it. That's all I'd want to see.
While I wouldn't mind seeing that, I feel like the movie has goals, and the goals that it sets out to do, it does well. I feel like it is a kid's adventure, like exploring this childlike love that they found for each other, and like trying to essentially go against the world in order to preserve it, and they succeed, and she kissed him and became a human forever who somehow can fly for some silly reason, but that's it. I feel like the story doesn't need any other closure. It's found all the closure it needs, so I don't need anything else if they decide to not to.
That's fair. That's all I have for questions this week. We're actually running longer than I thought we were going to run.
God damn it, we did it. I knew we were going to do it.
In all fairness, though, the sidetracking is what got us.
Yeah, it was the sidetracking.
So let's cue some music for Conspiracy Corner here real quick. It's a short one. So this week, Ryan...
I actually think I know this. I actually think I know it, too.
Okay. I want to hear what you think it is before I tell you what it is.
Well, so... Once, when they finally get out of the ocean, and they're trying to find Sasuke's mom, after they find the car and Sasuke cries because his mom is gone, as they're walking, they come to a very long, dark tunnel, and as soon as I saw it, I immediately thought to the tunnel in Spirited Away.
That is not the one I have.
Really?
That is actually that's a very good callback, though. I do like that.
As soon as I saw it, I was just like, ooh, Spirited Away, I see it. All right.
We'll add that to my web of lies and trickery. We'll add that in there.
All right. Well, what's the actual conspiracy then?
Okay, so let's go all the way back to Kiki's delivery service.
Shit.
Do you remember what the husband and the baker looked like by any chance? If you need image search them, go right ahead. I'm not gonna stop you. I'll vamp here real quick. But the husband and the baker have a very, you could argue, distinct design similarity to our protagonists Ponyo and Sosuke here.
Really?
Yes. There have been some cases where people have pointed them out and done side by sides, and you could definitely see the baker and Ponyo having some similar design features.
Oh, shit, you're right. Oh, yeah. God. Oh, man, what? What? Oh, my God. Okay. All right.
Shout out to Miyazaki for thinking that far ahead.
Oh, you... God damn it. God damn it.
I'll do my best for the video version to make sure I remember to put those pictures in. I can't promise, but I will certainly try.
Oh, shit. All right. Yeah, no. All right. I'm there.
So that's our conspiracy corner. And you know what, Ryan? Do you think we should tackle a quick trivia, or do you want to move on to our final segment here?
We are running a bit long. We should probably just move on.
That's fair. So moving on to the final segment where we rank the film. As y'all can see in the link down below in our descriptions, we do have a post that discusses all that on our Patreon. Basically, we rank them from platinum to shit, determining what the best movies are, and why we rank them the way we do. If you want to know the details of every rank, please click the link and read the description in detail, because I don't want to read it off every single episode. I'll read it when we have guests, because I need to kind of clarify with them, but that's another story. So, Ryan, Ponyo, where would you rank this? I have a strong feeling I know where you're going to put it.
Ponyo, like, for all my nitpicking, again, I really, really enjoyed the movie. I had a lot of fun with it. It's just the kind of meandering feeling of the storytelling and the somewhat lack of substance. I would rank it a very, very high bronze. I think it's a fantastic kids movie, and you can show it to every kid, and they'll have a great time with it. A great analogy to Little Mermaid, but I don't think it's like a must see that will inspire deeper conversation afterwards.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from, and I'm going to rank it a little higher. I think the art style and the attention to detail and the fact that it's a very cute story that I think kids will really get into, I can go as high as a silver.
That's fair.
I don't think it is a mandatory must see. I don't even think it's one that it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be a gold level of everyone should see it. But I don't think it would hurt anyone to see it. I think it's definitely something that if you want to check it out, please do, because you'll have a fun time. And I think if you have kids, they will have a great time too. And I don't know if Ryan, if you've noticed this, but this actually is, if I recall, an anniversary for Studio Ghibli. I don't remember. I think they said it's the 30th anniversary.
What, really?
Let me check real quick, because I want to make sure before I start blabbering on about this. Studio Ghibli anniversary. Let's see. So it looks like, yes, this is the 31st year? This is the 10th anniversary of Ponyo this year. I think it's either the 30th or 31st anniversary this year. But it's a big number nonetheless, and there have been a lot of theater re-releases for some of these films that I've noticed in my local area. I don't know if you've seen any advertised for you in your area, but they recently had Grave of Fireflies in one of the local theaters just to celebrate as part of the celebration for the anniversary. It's been pretty cool to read all this stuff.
Damn.
All at a great time too.
All right. It's pretty timely.
Yeah, I didn't plan on this. It's just kind of happened. But yeah, so that is our segment for our movie for the week. Next week, Ryan, we'll be discussing a movie done by another guest director for The Secret World of Arrietty.
Yes.
And I'm not going to lie, I had a good time with that one. I cannot wait to get into it.
I did too. I can't wait to talk more about that one.
Alright. Well, let's go ahead and do some quick plugs. If you want to talk to us more on Tumblr, Twitter, or Facebook, we're always there. Please send us a message. If you like an episode, please make sure to rank and review it on iTunes, Google Play, or whatever podcast platform you prefer. And as always, if you can spare an extra $1 a month to our Patreon page, every dollar helps keep the lights on over here. And it's less than the cost of your popcorn you're going to go buy at the movie, or your drink. So, save us some money.
It's less than the cost of an inflatable boat.
It really is. In most cases, I would assume so. And, of course, if you want to get to us directly, there's always our email. Ryan, what is that email?
That's lonesomeryan@gmail.com. That's evacstation@gmail.com.
I almost didn't catch that, but I think I heard evacstation@gmail.com.
Indeed, you heard evacstation@gmail.com, and nothing about me being lonely.
Yeah, I heard if you repeat things over and over again, people tend to remember it. I'm hoping that it's the case here.
Oh, shit. You know what? I forgot to tell you. The email is actually evacstation@gmail.com. My bad.
I never would have guessed that. So thank you. Thank y'all for listening. And we'll see you after the credits.
Bye.
Under the sea,
Under the sea,
darling, it's better, don't worry, it's weather.